All right, let's welcome back to Straight Fire. Guy I've known for a while, man. He's a good dude. He's got a great job. I worked with him for many years. The only problem is he's a big Bulls Bears fan. I think he's on the Jordan side of the Jordan LeBron debate. I think, obviously. Let's welcome in Vik Chokshi. Vik, how are you, my main man?
I'm doing great. And what do you mean you think? Of course I am.
Yes, he's a hardcore Jordan stan, obviously, being a Chicago guy. He is at the Athletic. He's got a very robust role. I mean, he was at Fox with me, he was at the Big Lead. Why don't you tell the audience what you've been up to lately at the Athletic, building out a strong group there?
Yeah, thank you, man. Of course, I was at the big lead with you. You gave me my first gig. So it's been a while since then. Now I'm over at the Athletic. I'm heading up the sports betting vertical. I'm heading up the streaming vertical. So basically handling our partnerships with Fubo and sports betting partners, managing a group of writers, editors, working with the business team, a bunch of different stakeholders, just creating really cool content on the site and app, which has been a lot of fun, man. I've been here for about a year and a half now.
Damn, he's just rolling. I mean, so it's interesting. The gambling space. Remember the gambling gold rush? What was that, like 20, maybe pre-COVID, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And now there's the prediction market gold rush, which is starting to catch some heat. I don't know how much you followed the online battles between the sides, but as a gambling savant, how do you handle this? Whether it's gambling or prediction markets, do you dabble? We had your buddy Glassbeagle on, and he messes around with prediction markets. I don't know so much.
It's interesting because I feel it's good that you brought up that point about 2018 almost because I feel like we're at that same tipping point when it comes to prediction markets, right? Like when FanDuel and DraftKings turned the switch from fantasy to betting and that whole world opened up, I feel like we're at the same point when it comes to prediction markets right now with Kalshi and Polymarket. So I've dabbled in it. Have had to learn about it. I think we're at a point where like no one really is doing it really well in terms of content. So that there's a big opportunity there. And then I also have a group of buddies that like were never sports bettors that are loving it because they're used to trading stocks, for instance. And to
Mm.
them, this is speaking their language. Whereas like my sports bettors, they are a little confused of like, hey, what does this actually mean? So it's almost like the roles are reversed, where my buddies who never bet were always like, what does minus 325 mean? What does money line mean? And now I got my stock market guys that are almost explaining it to our sports betting buddies where they're like, hey, these are contracts. This is how much, each one goes for, and this is how the system works. So, I think we're right at the beginning of all of this. It'll all also depend on like the administration, as you know, because I know you're into politics a lot, but
Oh gosh.
right now it's all steam ahead for prediction markets, and that can always change if we have another president and another regime. I do think there's going to be some more regulation towards it, but right now, man, there's nothing stopping it. Younger people, you have young kids, and I know you have a son that's always on the internet, but I have a lot of friends that have like high school buddies or high school kids that are now like on the phones with their parents doing prediction market stuff, like trading contracts, which to me is pretty crazy. But
You
they're
think
trying.
that's good? Do you think that's a good thing though, Vic?
I don't. I think. I
I
mean,
would
again,
agree.
I don't know. Every parent's different, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
judge. I'm still one of those guys holding out on cell phones with my kids.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
every parent's got to do what's best for them. Some people are like, hey, this is the way of the world. It's changing. AI's here. Prediction markets are here. Stock market, this is like teaching our kids the stocks. And when I was in high school, we did have a stock market class in high school. So, I personally think it's an interesting space because I can see the pros and cons. The good part about our industry almost is like we can stick to sports. I think there's a whole insane world if you open it up where you can put money down on war and people dying and
Yeah.
like missiles and things like that and insider information that has already been pretty well documented that is already occurring. So, if we stick to sports, I do think it can be what you make of it, which is kind of fun. And there's a lot more like there's always like any guy that's rumored like Giannis we can talk about right now, where everybody's talking about where's Giannis going to end up. To me, it's just another way at looking at like numbers, implied odds and probabilities and outcomes, right? So, it's this whole world that's I think really just at the beginning of where it's going to get to be in the next few years.
Yeah, you say a lot of make a lot of good points. The whole betting on war and oil markets, that is really bad and should be outlawed. But of course, the political space right now, anything goes, which is, I think, terrible. The Atlantic had an interesting piece on Polymark and Kalshi, really taking down them hardcore. There's been a couple of Substack writers I've read about how this is not something we should have. I totally understand a game, like betting on a game, sure, but betting on where Giannis is going to land, there's a reason you can't really bet that at a lot of shops, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some that you can, but for instance, somebody could be on the inside, have a family member who's in the war room for the, I don't know, let's just say the Brooklyn Nets. And the
Right.
husband comes home and he tells his wife how stressed he is, and the kid hears it. And then the kid decides, I'm going to go put a bet on, and tells his friends, and they all, like it just, you can't do that with games. That's why I'm totally fine with betting on games. You feel like you can find an edge. We'll talk about some NFL bets later. But I'm with you. I just feel like it is a little the wild, wild west and probably not great. Um, but
You can bet on Survivor. You can bet on pre-recorded shows, which to me is
yeah, come on.
absolutely
What are we
insane because
doing?
like people already know the outcome of these things, right? And so to your point, yeah, I mean, there's just right now it's the Wild Wild West. You hit it best. Like there's no regulation. I think that will come, and when that comes, I do think there is a pathway for this thing moving forward. It's
Maybe,
just
yeah.
it's just crazy right now, man. There's no checks and balances.
Yeah, I'm sure you read the article about somebody was betting on the weather at an
Yeah.
airport, and some clown decided, "Ooh, I can manipulate this by holding up a hair dryer to the thermometer. Nobody's going to notice, and it will register." Meanwhile, it was obvious that no other area had a spike in weather except this one, so they busted the guy. But like everybody's trying to get rich quick, man. It's
Yeah. And
I
that's
don't know.
where like sports betting comes in, right? With the regulation and kind of like the monitoring of these things. So,
Yeah.
yes, we're hearing a lot about the newest scandals, but there's a reason for that. It's because there's monitoring taking place now where like if you see any irregularities, you can flag those right away.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing like that right now with prediction markets.
Yeah.
And that's where, it is a bit of a gray zone.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the NBA Finals. Something I don't know if you bet on it. I like the Knicks in this one. I had said it before the series, before the playoffs. I like Spurs over Knicks. Game one obviously happens, and now the Knicks are favored, and Brunson's favored to win the MVP. I don't know, Vic. My gut tells me that this is the market saying, "Hey, you know what? A lot of people are going to overreact to one game." And you know what? A lot of new money out there, new Knicks fans, right? And they just know let's shift everything. And now Knicks fans are moving the markets. I am curious. Do you think this is legit? Hey, we got to move the markets because of sharp betters, or do they see something after game one, or is this just hey, let's rope more people in by saying the Knicks are favored now?
I think it's a little bit of the latter. I think it's all Knicks all the way, baby. We had Doug Kazarian, you know Doug a little bit, but he
Yeah,
he wrote a story for us right before the finals about just how everyone's piling on the Knicks and this playoff run. And so there's almost the Knicks tax part of this thing. And to me, it's a little bit of like, hey, how do we get just more action coming in? And
yeah.
honestly, if you're better, you can probably take the Spurs today and then, you can arbitrage a little bit after they
Mm-hmm.
win game two. And this is good. To me, this is going to be a 6, 7 game series. And same thing with finals MVP. Me and you were talking a little offline, but you do the same thing with MVP. You can bet Wemby right now at plus money when he was a big favorite coming in. And then if Brunson has a big game, they're gonna go back and forth. Or you can grab Cat right now at plus 1100, which is
I mean, the
pretty
guy had one
good.
good game, Vic.
Yep. But
I
hey,
know he's had a
listen,
good postseason, but come on.
he's had a monster post,
Yeah,
Mr. Clutch, man.
yeah,
But
no, he has.
again, I think to me, it's just they want to bring in some new money,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's going insane about the Knicks right now. The public, you know this, man. There's the Cowboys, there's the Lakers, there's always attacks on these big teams, and everyone's all in on the Knicks right now, and for good reason. They're playing awesome basketball. Like I'm not hating on the Knicks. I did think the Spurs would win the series before the series started, but I also had this one going seven, and I think it's going to be another like epic one, just like the
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals.
I also noticed, I think it's 7 straight years where we'll have a new champion. And I know the league has to love that because, hey, everybody's got a shot. Look, hey, look at this. 7 years, 7 different champs, no dynasties anymore. I don't know if that's great long term for the league. I think movement and the excitement over, what is it, the 2010s? Oh, every summer it was like, oh my gosh, who's moving? What's happening? The chaos. And there really isn't much this summer except for Giannis, maybe LeBron, unless your Bulls make a play on Austin Reeves or something. But I don't know. What do you kind of prefer? Do you prefer, hey man, I love the new aprons and the taxes and the intricacies of trades, or I like kind of it's wide open, craziness and chaos is going to reign.
People love the NFL because every year your squad has a shot,
Yeah.
right? Unless you're like sad to say, but since I've
Jets.
known you, like the Jets and the Bears have been in that category, and we can talk about the Bears
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Like Jets, Browns, Bears are always, but otherwise, like every year going into the season, you feel good about your squad. And like, look at this year, the Spurs were like plus 6,500, I think, before the season started. So it's
Something
like,
like that, yeah.
I think the NBA is thrilled about it, like you said. The commission's probably thrilled about it. I've been talking to a lot of I have a lot of friends in the industry, so like agents and players and like people in that realm of the world are not happy, of course, about the second apron and all of these kind of things, right? Because it limits kind of the potential money that these athletes can make in the long term over their career. And so for me, I'm a Bulls fan, as you stated earlier. So like it doesn't matter for like a team that's been run so poorly for
Yeah.
so long. But to me, I think the league is thrilled with how it's going, and they're probably going to want more of this kind of going forward. And it's set up to be that way for sure.
Yeah. So, what do you got with Giannis? Interesting report this week that a longtime Bucks reporter is like, it's weirdly quiet. There is no chatter right now about Giannis, and meanwhile, there's been chatter like seemingly every week all season. Vic, I gotta say, I wonder if there's a handshake agreement with the Bucks and the NBA. Hey guys, can we enjoy the finals? It's Wemby and New York. It's going to be huge. Can we focus on that? And you do all Giannis as soon as it's over. I just wonder if things are happening behind the scenes. What's your best guess?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they want to wait until this finals is done and this thing is pretty much over with. I mean, Shams has kind of alluded to like this is happening no matter what. And so basically, our writers at The Athletic, they had a good article this week about like what they're hearing about Giannis, and it was the Heat, the Magic, the
Wait, let's touch
Cavs.
on the Heat real quick. So I'm assuming they'd give up Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, whoever, but they'd not Bam, right? So if Giannis and Bam are the two centerpieces of the Heat, what are the Heat that much better than the Bucks?
I don't think
So
so.
just address that. Like I
Yeah,
don't buy any of this Heat stuff.
yeah, I don't think so. But again, man, like a lot of people love going to Florida, people love going to Texas. The
It's fair.
money, and I don't think so. If you're looking at the overall roster construction, and if I'm him and he's actually serious about winning a championship, like he should be going to the Spurs. He should be going to the Thunder. Like those teams have assets. Um, but yeah, I mean the Knicks. Sham said this week, which was interesting. Like the Knicks were definitely calling about Giannis in the offseason. I don't know if you saw that
But
report.
last offseason?
Yeah, last
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
offseason, and they were close, and now it's like completely off the table. Something happened where they were basically too far apart, and he was just like, Knicks is not happening, moving forward. But I don't know, man. I think he's done for sure. I agree with you. There's some kind of handshake deal where they need to keep the chatter on a low right now until the finals are done, and
Mhm.
then as soon as it's done, I think a lot more things are going to leak, and we're going to hear a lot of stuff. I mean, the Cavs do have some like good young players. I don't know if that's another squad to kind of keep an eye on, but there's the Magic, the Heat, the Celtics was the interesting one, which I know me and you and Glassbeagle have texted a little bit about Jalen Brown and just kind of how they're going to break that team apart a little bit. To me, that was probably the most interesting one when I was reading.
Okay. So like just hypothetically, Jalen Brown for Giannis. Um, right? Maybe there's other stuff involved, picks, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, there was some picks involved, but pretty much it was like those are the two marquee headline names.
Okay, so let me ask you, when you look at the NBA finals, Knicks 9 deep, maybe 10. You look at the Spurs, 9 deep, six man of the year. I mean, Dylan Harper's coming off the bench. 9 deep, maybe 10. Thunder. clearly 10 deep. And I think it's safe to say these are the three best teams in the league, right?
Yep.
Depth is like a huge priority right now, Vic. If you trade for Giannis, you're sacrificing your depth. And I just wonder, is, it's similar to how some of these teams that, I think like the teams with like of the 10 highest paid, was it quarterbacks last year? Only like 3 made the playoffs, or whatever the number was. But the quarterbacks are soaking up so much of the cap that it's tough to build a roster. Enter Seattle, enter New England, who have cheap quarterbacks, rookie deal, and then Sam Darnold getting 30 mil. And you build a roster that way. I just wonder, do you think we've reached a breaking point where like teams are like, I'm Giannis at 60 million. I can't build a roster. I can't compete because you need 82 games, 20 playoff games. I just wonder if Giannis's market is going down or up at this point.
I do agree with you. I think we're seeing a shift in the league that it is going to be more just like I think the Knicks are the best example. I mean, they got a guy like Brunson who took a little bit of a haircut to
Yeah.
build out the rest of the team, and they are 9-10 deep. And I think gone are the days of the like two-man super teams, and
Yeah.
that you're gonna have, a bunch of just random role players on that squad or some older vets. I think team Knicks are gonna be like the template moving forward of how teams want to construct a roster. And, they're going to want teams want to have like 7, 8 really good players. They want to have, of course, you need stars in the NBA to win a championship. But at the same time, I think the big three kind of days are over and more teams are going to shift towards what you're talking about. Like the cap is, the stars are going to continue to just get paid more and more. And so I think De'Aaron Fox makes 55 million.
That's insane.
Which, like, to me, I know me and you were texting about the Bulls a little bit. Like, the Spurs are definitely gonna, in my opinion, move off of Fox next year. Like, he's great for the squad, but man, they have a young guard.
Wait, oh, sorry, hold on. So Fox is at 37 mil this year, but it spikes up to 49
Okay,
next
there you
year.
go.
But by far highest paid player on the team.
So around 50 mil next year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if like the Bulls or there's some teams that are out there that have a lot of cap space but are far away from winning a championship. Like if the Spurs were like, "Hey, take this guy off of our books, we'll give you some picks." I think the Bulls are like an interesting squad to
Mm.
like do something like that. Like the Bulls are still far away. They got a couple of good draft picks coming up, but they got a ton of cap space. And so to me, I think just going back to your earlier point, like that's my point is I think even the Spurs, which is a great young squad, is going to go away from that mega contract because they're
Mhm.
going to need the money for Wemby,
Yeah.
and then they're going to want to build out the rest of their squad to get more deeper for next year.
Yeah. I wonder if Wemby's one of those guys, he's going to make so much off the court that he says, I don't need the Jalen Brown $70 million a year now. I mean, if he wants to keep Harper and Castle, he'll have to. Speaking of taking less, you mentioned Brunson took 113 million less. Austin Reeves. Okay. I think he will be willing to take less to stay with the Lakers. I don't know how much less, but what if your Bulls, like, would you be upset if your Bulls offered him 40 mil a year?
I kind of would my and I'll caveat that by saying I think he's a really good player. I just
Yeah.
think the Bulls are not close to winning a
Right.
championship right now. So for me, it's like, hey, we looked into this lottery. We got the fourth pick in a four-man draft. Like we got the 15th pick. We got a bunch of, why not build this thing? We got a couple of good young players. And maybe this is a year from now or 2 years from now where the squad is really ready to take that step. Then you go out and get a good guy, like in whether there's always going to be a young player that you can kind of make a move for. So I don't think he's a bad player. I just think that the Bulls are not in a place right now to make a move like that. But he's highly regarded in the league. There's a lot of people out there that would
Yeah.
probably make that move for him, overnight.
So it's funny you mentioned the contracts again. I'm on Basketball Reference real quick. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown next year combined will make 115 million. Just those two, Vic. Okay, 115 million. The Knicks, their top two guys. I mean, it depends who you call their top two, but you want to say
Sure.
Brunson and Cat
Yep.
combined, they make 94 million. So that $20 million difference is Josh Hart. You could get Josh Hart because Brunson took less. That's huge. Josh Hart led them in assists, rebounds, steals in game one. Like he's your ultimate glue guy. And again, I'm not telling these guys to take less. I'm not in their pockets. But I don't know, Vic. You had to make a decision, right? I mean, you get Fox had offered you Athletic. I'm sure. Hey, do you want to move? What do you value more? Quality of life in Chicago versus living in LA versus here, there. You got to make these decisions, and it's tough. But I don't know, man. I'd be hard pressed if I'm Austin Reeves. Yeah, I don't need 40. Give me 35 mil a year. If it enables us to go get another guy, like honestly, if you're Austin Reeves, you're set generationally, are you not?
Yeah. I mean, listen, the best of the best players of all these kind of like Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes, Brunson now. I mean, like they understand that they can't do this thing alone, and that $20 million or whatever that number is makes a gigantic difference to help them win the championship. Like their goals were to win the championship. And so if Austin Reeves is, and again, I'm like you, man, all players should get, all of us in life should get what we deserve and like how, what we work for. But the problem is he's young, man. Like he probably wants that first big contract and you get
Fair.
that guaranteed money. And then after that, you can kind of make some of those kind of moves. But he's also in LA, man. LA is
LA is expensive,
a different world.
but you can make money off the court. Real quick, let me go to your Bulls. Would you be up for giving up the fourth pick if it meant bringing a quasi big name star to Chicago, or do you want, hey, I'd rather go the young route. Let me get Caleb Wilson, Boozer, whoever at four, and build from the ground up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit there, but when it comes to the Bulls, I think they're just in a great space where like you can just basically take whoever for, like you said, whoever drops to us, that's who they're gonna draft. I know there's a bunch of Bulls fans that are like my buddies that like, hey, we don't want Carlos, we don't want Boozer. He's gonna be just like his dad, and
Wow.
or they're like fighting about who we want it for, and I'm like, guys, just be happy. Like we jumped into the fourth pick in a four-man draft, like. This is the lack of the Irish. Like, let's ride this thing.
Yeah.
Let's be happy with whoever we get. And all four of those guys are really, really good players. So I'm excited about that for sure. It does look like it's going to be Caleb Wilson from a lot of like, you're a big mock draft guy. I know you do a mock a
Yeah.
couple mocks every year. So from what I'm hearing and seeing, it looks like it's going to be Caleb Wilson. But it's going to be fun regardless. It's a good time to be a Bulls fan. Like we have
Yeah.
hope right now. New GM, new front office, right? New coach, a couple of young players, some money, and we can see where that leads us.
We could wrap up with your Chicago Bulls. So, Vic, I'm nerding out on AI currently. My son got me into it. So I got Claude and co-work, and I've got an agent working for me. Like literally, I just feed it tasks all day. It finds numbers and crunches it. One of the best, I haven't written this up for the newsletter yet, but one of the best bets on the board is the Chicago Bears under. That's what this thing's telling me. So I'm not going to give everything away, but it is saying it has an extremely difficult schedule. The defense massively overachieved due to turnovers, which is very, very difficult to duplicate year over year. And, I know this is going to be tough to stomach. We all love Caleb Williams. Um, he was in the 20s, like in the 19 to 20s range for success rate, EPA, all the advanced stats. He benefited by some splash plays in the clutch. Where are you on the Bears, who are riding high with Ben Johnson? But the win total 9.5, and the numbers are saying bet the under.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think a lot of sharp bettors are taking the under from what I've
Mm,
seen and what I've read.
okay.
The schedule, a lot of the things you mentioned are true. Like the schedule is tough. But last year on paper, our schedule was super tough as well. You never know until you play the games, and a lot of times you get breaks of the game where someone gets hurt, unfortunately, and you know how that is. So, the turnover thing, you were right. Like we did lead the league in turnovers, and basically that is very hard to replicate. That being said, like they added a lot of really good pieces this offseason. Like they wanted to get a lot faster on defense, and they did that via free agency. Kobe Bryant, Devin Bush, the kid they got out of Oregon, the safety Dylan
Yeah.
Thieneman is a stud. So I actually think the defense is going to be pretty good, and the offense is going to progress in the second year under Ben Johnson. Like the guy's a maniac. They look good. I actually think Luther Burton is going to have a monster year. That's one guy. Like I I don't know if you saw this. Coach Ben Johnson himself said buy Luther Burton stock
No, I did not see that.
last week. Um, he last year was just pure off his like instincts, and now this guy, knows the playbook. He's dynamic. I never seen a Bears receiver, at least in my lifetime, with that much like explosion. Every time he touches the ball, he could take it to the house. He's one of those kind of guys. But to answer your question, listen, I think they can win 10 games, 11 games, but things have to go well just like they did last year. Like we gotta, catch some breaks. We gotta stay injury free. We don't have a lot of depth, right? They're a young squad. If they get a couple of big injuries in certain places, I can definitely see this thing going south pretty quickly. But the even though the schedule is hard, I don't know if you saw this. Warren Sharp. I know
Oh
you
yeah.
follow his tweets. He had the travel kind of breakdown, and the Bears are actually like one of the best schedules if you're just looking at travel,
Travel,
like the
yes.
amount of the rest they're gonna have and travel in general and bye weeks and some of this kind of stuff. Like it did all play out in their favor, but a lot of things you hit were definitely true. And here's the big thing, man. We've seen it time and time again in the NFL. Like, a offense and a quarterback can have a really good year, and then once defensive coordinators get film on them, like year two is when you really find out if they're legit or not, right? They have a lot of primetime games, and now this is going to be year two where people have film on what they can do.
Yeah.
And so that's going to me is going to be the biggest like question mark is
Yep.
are they ready for this? Are they ready for the spotlight? Can they do it? But you brought up some Caleb stats, which are very true, but he also had a lot of like very positive stats that a lot of people that are taking this completion percentage narrative a little bit overboard, right? You can use stats however you want to
Yeah,
use.
yeah, certainly.
Like they also had led the league in drops and the most yards off of drops as well. If you wanted to look at that, he was top 10 in a ton of categories. He was top five in like every big throw statistic you can look at, which obviously showed that he can replicate some of that. It wasn't just like, the luck of the Irish again. I love that
Hmm.
phrase, but like one or two times he
Yeah.
can, he showed that he was like built for some of these moments. And you texted me about the Madden curse. Like, of course, that's a big thing that is
Yeah.
around like on our group chains. But Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl when he was on the Madden
There
cover.
you go. Patrick
And
Mahomes, no big deal.
and again, like to me, it's just really cool to have a quarterback that's on Madden. Like, think about this, man. You're a Jets fan, similar to us. To have an actual Bears play, he's the first Bear ever to be on Madden. To have an actual Bear quarterback on the cover is really cool. Like his he did it with the Green Bay Packers throw. I don't know if you saw like a little bit behind the scenes,
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
that was really cool. It's that throw to like beat the pack almost or like charge that comeback. He's got an overlay of the city. Like, I don't know, man. I grew up a very superstitious kid when it
Hmm.
comes to sports, but now that I'm older, I'm just like, if these if these guys are legitimately the great ones, which like we hope he is as a Bears quarterback, like I don't know. I wouldn't worry too much about curses. I would like to see them win 10 games, make the playoffs again, and just like
Yeah.
continue to build on what last season was.
So I guess the Lions, because they finished third, have the easiest schedule in the
Easiest.
division.
Yep.
And ESPN's FPI, which I, by the way, fed into the little model that the co-work Claude agent built for me, has the Bears 16th in the league behind the following NFC teams: Packers, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys. So as of now, they're a fringe playoff team. I don't know. It's something's fishy here. Everybody loves the Bears. I had liked them a lot. I mean, that playoff run, come on, Vic. That was amazing. I don't know. It's gonna be a stressful year for you for sure. I mean, listen, it's stressful summer. You got aren't there World Cup games in Chicago?
No, no Chicago.
No?
But World Cup starts next week, man.
It
So
does. Yeah, I know. Yeah, World
it's
Cup big
gonna be a
time.
lot of fun. You know
Um,
how it is because me and you have been there, of course, at Fox when there's
oh,
World
it's
Cup
big.
on our
Well,
air, and
yeah.
it's awesome, man. It's insane, and every day is a grind if you're thinking about work, but it's also pretty amazing, and I'm excited for that, man. I think everybody in the industry is. Who are you? You gotta? I know we gotta jump soon, but who are you putting some money on to win the
Oh
World
boy.
Cup.
Well, the newsletter had I've already bet Ecuador in the opening match pretty heavily. The
Yep.
next bet I've coming is Czechia. I think they play South Korea. Again, the Claude. And now I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe this agent and all these numbers are wrong, but I'm just betting the numbers. No emotion, right? You're taking the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a whole file that I'll be writing up all the games.
Here's a fun one that I want you to run through your agent or your bot. So I had one of my writers like take all the historical trends you can think of, like the categories, the filters, and just start narrowing the teams down. And basically what he came up with all of these different like ELO rating and all of these things was there's only 5 teams that can win this thing. So it'll be
Only five?
after you break down and eliminate, through all of these different categories, um, it was a fun post. I'll say,
Can I guess them?
yeah, go ahead. That's
Okay.
what I want to
Spain,
do.
obviously.
Yep,
France,
yep,
England.
nope,
Not England?
not England.
Oh wow, I'm bullish. I have Harry Kane as to win the Golden Boot. Um, I don't think Brazil should be on there.
Nope, they're not.
Okay, because I'm Morocco's a bet in the first game.
You're missing one obvious one, which is the best
Oh,
player.
Argentina,
Yep.
obviously.
So, and then there's 2 more left.
Is
One,
Portugal one?
no, Portugal's not. There's one old school, like always good squad.
Oh,
Uh,
Germany.
Yep, Germany. And then there's the last squad is kind of like a high flying offense that hasn't won ever, as my hint to you.
Not Netherlands.
Netherlands.
It is Netherlands.
It is in the
Oh,
Netherlands.
interesting.
So Argentina, France, Germany, Netherlands, Spain. So I would love for you to now put this into your Claude Botter agent and see like basically prompt it to say take into account every
Yeah.
historical trend and category and see what they spit out.
Well, one tough thing this year is there's way more teams.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the things that the model keeps saying is, listen, 8 teams can finish third in their thing in their
True.
group and advance. So they're more incentivized to be careful, play more defense.
True.
Draws can get you to advance. So they expect a lot of unders betting wise. Usually it's under 2.5 goals.
Yep.
And expect which also could lead to some major upsets, because if you just hunker down on defense, foul, PK, boom, oh my gosh, we
True.
got a major upset. So I don't know. It's a little wacky,
I'll
48.
give you the opposite side of that though. There's also teams that are now in the field that probably shouldn't have been
Should
in
not
the
be. So
field.
there's, yeah.
So you might see some absolute waxings where like a lot of these stacked squads, they're bench warmer, not bench warmers, but
Yeah.
bench can score like circles around some of these guys. So like the Golden Boot, for instance, is a fun one to like track in my opinion, because there might be a game or two where one guy just goes off and has 3 or 4 goals against some of these like bottom feeder squads,
Yes.
and then no one's going to be able to catch them,
So the
right?
guy to
So,
watch there is the stud at Norway, Earl. He plays at Manchester City,
yeah,
Holland.
yeah,
So I think he plays Iraq or one of those countries that really has no chance. And it basically is like, listen, if you want to take a chance on him for the Golden Boot, he could easily score 3 or 4 goals in that game.
if
And then
he
he has a huge edge because nobody scores 3 or 4 goals in that game.
exactly. That's what I mean. It's like if they're trying against some of these bottom feeder teams, but like again, you're right. It'll be interesting to see. The logic is true. Like, especially for some of those like C tier teams, they're gonna play defense and like hunker down and like really hope to just like get draws or lose
Mm-hmm.
1-0 and like to try to get those like
Yep.
wild card positions for this year. But there was a fun bet with like you. I know you loved betting on USA. Me and you used to do some of these for
Yeah,
like
it's tough.
just
I
for
don't know what to
fun,
make of this year's team, but yeah,
just
go
for
ahead.
fun. But like them to get out of their group is like plus money. And to me, it's like, dude, they would have to
Oh,
pretty much.
wait, are you sure?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I saw
Wow.
a week ago. I don't know about right now, but
Okay.
like in like even if it's like very like 1 for 1, like to me, how are they not getting out of the group, man? Like that would be an embarrassment if they lost every game. And so they got to
Well,
cut.
yeah, the Paraguay opener it could be a tough one because of their style. A lot of teams want to mimic what Morocco did in 22, making a deep run basically by playing the low block defense. We're going to hunker down and you're not going to get past us. But Morocco had superstars. Paraguay does not have superstar defenders. So it's going to be fun to see what happens. Um,
Australia is the game to me. That's like a layup, basically. So
yeah,
they're
that's a win.
they're plus 140, plus 160 at a couple of books. I'm looking at it right now. But like that's a fun one to make if you just want to like cheer for the USA. Like get out of the group, get some plus money. Just hope they beat Australia, which is like one of the worst teams in the tournament. Of course, anything can happen, but that's a fun one that I'm definitely just going to sprinkle a few bucks on. And like leading USA scores, another fun one just to like put a few bucks on if you think Balogun can outscore Pulisic, which I do.
Yeah.
And so, there's some good money to be had there, but it should be fun to watch, man. But I don't think, yeah, they don't have the goods to win it all, but it would be nice if they can make the knockout stage.
Oh, that would be awesome. All right, Vic is at the Athletic. He is a gambler. He is a Bulls fan. We didn't even get to Jordan LeBron. We'll save that for next time, Vic. Vic does a good job of not getting angry when I keep posting LeBron as the goat. He just brushes it off
You do
lightly.
not know how many text messages,
I know.
tweets, linked like Instagram, LinkedIn messages I get from people that watch your show and follow you on social media that are all like Bulls fans, or some are not even Bulls fans. They're like older heads,
Yeah,
that like, and they will message me and be like, "What is your boy talking about today?" Like, it's funny. I should show you some of those texts, but
yeah,
that's why sports are fun, man. Like
yeah,
to me, I used to be that, but now I'm a little older. Maybe it's parenthood, and like now that I have
yeah,
kids, like everyone can have their own opinion. We can
yeah,
still have fun behind it, and like that's what makes sports pretty amazing to
yeah.
me.
It's fun. Yeah. All right, Vic. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Of course, thanks, buddy. See ya.